Alright, guys, this is Music Universal Language. This is the 20th episode. And today, my guest is Roaming Bear. And your real name is Jerome?
That's my middle name. Real name's Connor Jerome Gerard.
And does the roaming come from Jerome, but you also roam?
Yeah, I'd never really gone by Jerome until Facebook made me delete my old profile that was Roaming Bear, so I didn't want to put my first real name out into the world, so I chose Jerome instead. But now everyone calls me Jerome, which is kind of like it backfired. Now, like, Jerome is becoming more of my identity.
Well, like, makes sense with the roaming bear part, but you also roamed a lot, so it's kind of
Jeroming Bear.
Jeroming, man. That's dope. All right. Well, yeah, like I said in the little intro, you know, we met at Swing State. I think it was 2010. I know because the tribe just started, and you guys had your whole little like crew there, and obviously a cool scene. But
I can't remember when we met. Were you were probably traveling with Riverwater Tribe and not doing a solo thing then?
Yeah,
was that the night you guys all came and crashed at my house?
I think it might have been the second time because we liked it so much as a tribe. I know we came back like 2 or 3 times in like 3 or 4 months, you know, or something. Because we only lived like an hour away. But then, yeah, that one time we had like a Chicago show the next day. So we crashed at your place, which was cool. Had a little jam session.
We did a bunch of recording then too, but
yeah,
that was before the days of like Pro Tools and computer recording, and it was kind of like on a system where in order to record more, you have to delete the recordings you have. So I might have like some MP3 bounces of those days, but like
only so much memory on that it'll hold on the device.
Yeah, I think I was probably using like the little Zoom DP008 like 8-track recorder.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You just kind of put it in the middle of the room or whatever.
Yeah.
But all right, let's go back further than that. When did you start playing an instrument? Or
I started playing, an instrument, I guess. I started playing, like, recorder in the 2nd grade.
Right. Then, music class or whatever.
Yeah, kind of, like, couldn't figure that out. But my parents were, like, really adamant about all of me and my siblings playing an instrument. Like, every year we each had to choose one to do in this program called Music on the Move at our school.
That was cool.
And, like, I was the only kid in Music on the Move that ever played hot cross buns at the school recital 2 years in a row because I just like did not excel. I couldn't get it for some reason.
Oh shit! And that was on piano or that was recorder?
That was on piano. I went from
piano, yeah,
recorder to piano for a few years to snare drum, and then I finally convinced my parents like this isn't for me. I'm not excelling at this, and they agreed. So they let me just do sports and forget music.
Took kind of a break from it.
Yeah, then when I turned like 16, I learned about punk music, and I went to like my first punk show, and
you remember what it was?
The local punk scene people. There's this band called Save Me Walter that went to my high school, and I think they played with Rule 22 in a band called Flaming Boner, and that first punk show just blew my mind, and I started like begging my parents for a guitar, and finally for like Christmas when I was 16, they got me the Fender Squier Strat Pack where it comes with a Squier and a little 15 watt amplifier.
Got a Red Raptor. I think it was a knockoff of that or some shit. PV knockoff.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you're 16, and then did you like immediately pick it up? You're like power chord time or?
Oh hell no! I spent like 2 years like not progressing at all on it.
Shit.
And it wasn't until I graduated high school that I finally like wrote my first song on it, and that was just out of desperation of like not having any direction or goal or plan in life, and I was just like, I gotta do something. So I like resorted to that guitar that had been just like gathering dust for forever. And as soon as I wrote one song, it was like there was no turning back. I was hooked.
Hell yeah. Well, it's cool when it almost comes out of something like that. Like you feel like you got to do it, and then once you do it, you're like, oh shit. It gets addictive, man. Writing songs.
When I played the song for people for the first time, they like kind of looked at me like I was a real musician, which like I never identified that way, you know. So it was like this is an identity that I could take on because I had no sense of self at 18. Right. You know, just going from like.
That's a good.
I went to Catholic school from preschool until senior year in high school, and like really was like lived a very regimented, structured life, and had no sense of self. So
no identity.
I was desperate for it. Yeah.
Or you feel like you have no original thought, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's the beauty of music, you know? It's like freedom. It really is.
Yeah.
Especially writing your own shit, you know, and expressing yourself.
Totally. Yeah, I remember I learned like a couple Neil Young covers, and as soon as I realized that like he played a couple of the same chords in a few of his songs, I was like, well, shit, you can use the same chords for a couple different songs. And then I just kind of took that approach to my own songs and started putting some cowboy chords together. And
hell yeah. So how long did you play on it till you felt like, I mean, did you perform right away or when you actually wrote that song, or did you stock up on some more?
Yeah, when I wrote the song, I played it for a couple people, and then like a few months later, I went to my first open mic. But this is kind of a funny story. Before I even went to my first open mic, I knew that I wanted to be a performer, and I knew that like this was the path that I was going to be on. So I started like looking. This is in the MySpace days. I found a promoter who was willing to put me on a show without any kind of without any content or anything to show.
Right.
But it was one of those like pay to play like bullshit promoters that like makes you sell 20 tickets and they'll put you on a show and then you don't get paid. They get paid.
They reap all the rewards. Yeah.
It was at the Miramar Theater in Milwaukee.
Was it Afton?
What was it? What?
Afton, the ticket company?
Yeah. I think it was. Yeah.
River Water Tribe did that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we lived in Milwaukee, so it was a little more convenient. But
yeah.
Okay. So that was you were 18.
So they booked me I was 18. They booked me 3 months in advance. So I had 3 months to like not only make a set but put a band together because I didn't want to play alone. I wanted to like be a band.
Right.
So I made these flyers and put them up at the local community college, and the flyers didn't get me anywhere. Nobody responded to them. It was just a very vague flyer that said like, looking to make a band like Peter, Bjorn, and John, 3-piece indie rock outfit, you know, and it had little pull tabs at the bottom. But apparently nobody was like hip to Peter, Bjorn, and John at the time. Right. But through a friend of mine, Carrie Lavris, she hooked me up with Michael, you, and Ethan, who you probably met. They're in a band with me called Jerome in the Sky. I don't know if we were playing as a band at the time when we met, or if that was later. But yeah, the three of us, we met and just started like getting to work. And by the time that Miramar show came, we had a whole set list and we sold out all the tickets, and it was of a success.
Cool. So you just like, would you have to sell like 10 or 20 and just hit up all your friends and family?
It was like 20 tickets, yeah, and it was mostly just friends and mostly my family and then some friends.
And they're like, you're actually playing a show. It's like, I mean, it's a decent theater, you know, it's a cool place to start.
We were on a real stage, elevated, like I felt like a rock star that day. Like there's a backstage there. And we weren't 21, but they allowed us to have our beer in the backstage and have some of our friends like come in through the back door and be our roadies. It really felt like we were rock stars right off the bat, and I was hooked on it.
That's cool. And then you got your own people there, so they're going to get into it regardless, sort of thing. So it's like,
yeah. You know, I mean, we sucked so bad, though.
Yeah,
we sucked so bad.
But at the time, did you almost think you didn't, or like?
No. At the time, I thought I was a rock star for sure.
You were feeling it, yeah.
I remember our bassist, Michael Yu, though, like got so drunk that they were sitting down, like cross-legged in the middle of the stage playing bass. Couldn't stand
get up, guys.
Yeah.
Wow. Shit. All right. Cool. That's a pretty cool place to start, though. I mean, you know, even if it's kind of the weird Afton route, So did you like?
I still have. My dad like made me this little frame that I still have upstairs with like the Afton ticket and like the demos we gave out that night framed with like a picture of us on the stage. It's kind of fun.
That's cool,
kind of cute. What beginnings?
So were these guys the band members the same guys like when we played that Bremen show? Remember that Bremen show we did, and I think it was the last Tony show.
Yeah, I think it was Michael Yu was there for sure.
Yeah, he was on drums.
I don't know. Did we have a drummer or no?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, then it's probably the same people.
Yeah, okay, cool. And I know I met them probably at Swing State before. I mean, especially Michael. Yeah, I've met him. Yeah, for sure. It's all coming back.
Michael played as the moniker Half Peach, Half Turtle for a while, and then also as the Fruit and Chocolate Confectionaries, who they have definitely played a show with us at Bremen, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
That was like banjo and washboard and musical saw.
For sure. That was, something at Swing State. But, okay. So, how long till you discovered Swing State? Was that pretty shortly after? Because you kind of like lived by it, but didn't know about it?
It was pretty quickly after that. I was, I think, 18 when I found it. So just a few months after I played my first show.
Was it like an instant thing? Like, I love this place.
For me, I was instantly in love with it, and for the management of Swing State, they hated me at first. They hated me. They hated my band because we sucked. And when Swing State first started, they had a rule where, and for the listeners who don't know, Swing State was a hookah bar. That was also a venue, like kind of had a DIY feel to the venue.
Definitely.
But it was in a hookah bar where 6 nights a week there was live music. And Ian Meyer, the owner of Swing State, his whole philosophy was he would not say no to anyone. So anybody that hit him up with a booking request, the answer was yes, if you could fit into the schedule. If you could tell him, and he posted his calendar live for everyone to see online. So if you could see a spot where there was an opening, the answer was yes. So
yeah, pretty dope.
You know, I didn't ever book a show at Swing State at first, but they used to have this rule where if there wasn't a band playing during a time slot, it was considered open mic. So me, cool. Mike, and Ethan would hang out there and just like be total stage hogs. Whenever there wasn't a band playing, we got up there and we'd practice our songs, and we'd do this like 4 or 5 nights a week, just playing all the time. And the people that worked there fucking hated it because A, we sucked. B, we thought we were cool, but we weren't. And like, C, we only had maybe 10 songs that were playing on repeat over and over.
Oh, no shit. Well, then it's like, it's their rule, like, coming back to haunt them. Like, oh, shit. Yeah. These guys just literally come here every day and wait for the opportunity to play.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you made yourself the house band.
Our first official show there was in October. And it was for their big Halloween fest, and the only reason we got on is because we just were lucky enough to be there when one of the bands dropped, like overhearing the band saying, "We can't play." So I was like, dude, we'll play your festival, man. Like, we're the guys for the job.
They're all looking at each other like, oh,
Ian's like, fine, like, you can play. But we ended up having to play we were like the very first slot. So it's starting at 3 o'clock, opening band to a festival, and our drummer had to work at like 4:30. So
oh shit.
We get there to unload, and there's nobody at the festival. Like, the stage is out back behind Swing State, and we're the only people there. And
damn.
We're like loading on, and our drummer Ethan is just like, I'm not playing. Like, I'm not playing for nobody. He's like, I gotta go to work.
Oh,
so
shit.
So ultimately we didn't play the gig.
Right.
And then that was all the leverage that the management of Swing State needed to be like, look, you guys, we pulled some strings for you. We got you on our festival. You bailed. You're banned from playing here. And they banned us. They banned us from Swing State.
Oh shit! So, I didn't know all this. Damn.
Yeah. So for a few months we were banned, but then we weren't banned from going there. So we'd keep going. And
Wait, so how many months were you like consistently playing any chance you could get?
I don't know, a couple months, at least
Like the
3 or
summer
4.
until October sort of thing?
Yeah, probably like from the beginning of summer until October or until Halloween.
Because you like
when we
got
went
out
on
of
the
school
festival.
that year and what have you.
Yep.
And, yeah.
Graduated high school, found this magical hole in the wall DIY place, and
And
it
what
was
is it?
home for us.
20 minutes from your house? Not even? Or
Like 30 or 40 minutes, yeah.
okay, yeah, I guess you're Waukegan a little further up, but
But I'd drive it every day, and I didn't even care.
Right.
And I'd find people to like carpool with me and share gas, like find other people to turn on to the place too.
so you guys got banned temporarily.
We got banned,
As
but
a
I
band.
kept going there. I kept hanging out with them, and then eventually, like when they're not paying attention, I'd hop on the stage, play a song or whatever, and then eventually Ian just like he kind of just became a buddy of mine and said, "Fine, like you can play again. Like we
Right.
get you guys weren't trying to fuck us over."
Was the Papa, was he there the whole time?
Pops was there
Pops?
since the
Papa.
day I got there.
Okay, so him and Ian both were kind of like making these decisions, or was it mainly?
It was mainly Ian and Mike Pollitt, the guy with the big long blonde beard, the younger hippie-looking dude.
Oh, I think I remember that. Yeah.
Mike Pollitt wasn't really like an owner of the spot or anything. It's Ian's joint, but Mike Pollitt had a lot to do in us getting banned because I think he really was tired of hearing our crappy music, and he was like a very advanced like jazz musician who had like a higher standard and higher taste
Right.
than we could
What are
even
these-
comprehend.
What are these kids doing? Damn it.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, how long did the band last? When did you actually officially, they're like,
We
Just by the
played
next
for
year, or-
years. I mean, so after that first show that happened in the summer, so after that fall, or no, I guess it was the next year, we went on a summer tour after that, and we like really like spread our stink all over the country, and we weren't well received anywhere. We just like stuck with it though, we stuck with it for like 4 years, and by the end of us being a band, we were eventually the house band at Swing State. We were
Yeah.
like the local favorites, and like when we'd play, we'd pack the place,
right.
and we eventually grew into something, but it took a long time. But we were
So-
persistent. We'd practice almost every day together.
So you guys, as a trio, though, you guys hit the road all together, and then were you guys just like living out of
For
a
like a
van
2-month
style,
summer
or-
tour, yeah, when we were
How did you hit the road?
18, 19, right on the verge there.
Frozen?
I think I lost you for a second there.
Yeah, we both froze. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm getting the warning. My internet connection is unstable. But
Oh,
should be
little
good.
bars. If anything, your audio be consistent. Oh yeah, it's pretty trippy
Yeah.
when you freeze.
Now I'm fucking around with my screen. I lost you. There you are.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, so like yeah, how was the touring? You guys were like toured together. Like, was this the hoppin' train shit, or was this later?
This was like the preface to Hopping Trains. This tour that we went on, it was 2 months long. I think we had 10 shows booked for a 2-month tour, and we each saved like $1,500 to $2,000 to go on this tour, and we blew through it all. Like
Oh shit!
it was like,
You can make that last forever now, right?
yeah. But then like none of us had a fucking clue. We were
Right, you're what,
we were
19? Yeah.
fresh out of high school, and also this was the summer that like gas was $4 a gallon back then for some fucking reason. It was like excruciatingly painful to travel.
Yeah.
And this is before the days of cell phones, before we didn't have a GPS. We were going off of like printouts of MapQuest directions, and we'd stop at libraries to like figure out how to get to the next town. So we spent a lot of time just driving around too, looking for places.
Right.
It was not fiscally, it didn't work for us as far as our funds went, and we came back so broke. But as soon as we got back, I was like, all right, guys, like, I'll start booking us another tour. This next one's going to be even better. And Mike and Ethan were like, fuck no, dude. Like, you suck at booking tours. We're not going to make money. They kind of viewed it as like, they didn't quit the band, but they're like, we're going to be a local band. And I had these big dreams of like, no, let's be national. Let's grow the brand.
Right.
So they both wanted to like go back to community college the next semester, and I just decided like fuck it, and I bought a backpack and a sleeping bag and some hiking boots, and that's when I hit the road, and I spent like the next 6 months traveling.
You're 20 by this point?
I think still 19, maybe even 18 still. I don't even know. Right in between there somewhere.
Right. What year did you graduate?
2007.
Okay. So
hit the road.
Yeah, we met you when you were like 21. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool.
Yep.
And then, all right, so for like 6 months, you just did like hitchhiking, train hopping.
Yeah, just traveling around.
And you met all the fucking street kids.
Yeah, and I fell in love with it. But then I came back and picked it back up with Mike and Ethan, and we started playing more. But for the next like half a decade, it was just like half the time I was home trying to play with them, half the time I was...
That's what I remember.
On the road.
Yeah, we would always like try to get a hold of you when you're actually in town to like do another swing state show. I felt like it was just always like a cooler vibe or whatever. But shit was... Oh, yeah, so like... Yeah, so I take it like the road side, was this kind of like giving you some cool inspiration for songs and whatnot? Like,
yeah,
obviously.
Totally. And like beyond inspiration for songs, just like some like deeper universal kind of like messages and meanings about life, like giving me purpose. Because like back to the beginning of the story, I was a lost dog. Like I didn't really have much to live for, like pretty much nothing to live for. I didn't value myself at all until music happened, and then like the road was liberating even more so than music, and like being able to figure out who I was completely free from the confines and restraints of that like my family and local community had put on me. You know, I was addicted to being this character that I could travel and be whoever I wanted to be in any circumstance.
Yeah, it's kind of the beauty of the road, man. It's another chance, or it's you can be, like you said, yeah, you can be something that you're not in your hometown, and then everyone you meet, you have another chance to make a different impression on them. And
yeah,
the way people
like Herman Hesse says.
Like who?
You get to be Herman Hesse, my favorite author. He says you get to be a magician when you're traveling. You know, a person with no friends, no family, or as far as anybody knows, you don't have friends or family, and like you get to just be something new every time.
It's like starting over, and then I think when you meet more people who like live that lifestyle all the time, it almost just like, I don't know, it can like shape and mold you into another way.
Yeah, you identify with that as your identity then eventually.
Yeah,
and I was like,
I remember meeting people like, you guys are like professional gypsies, man, and like it'd just be like really almost intimidating. I don't know. You know what I mean. They're out there.
Yeah.
The true like street people or like traveling people who like never stop sort of thing. I guess I was kind of lived like that for a while, but I was the same way. I always came back and regrouped and hung out with the family.
Yeah,
friends.
I always had the luck of like my mom being my guardian angel with an open door policy that like no matter how like strung out on alcohol I was when I came home or whatever, she always like would let me come crash on her couch and figure my life out again.
Right on. That's always appreciated. And so you were like, what, just going out like 2-3 months at a time, then coming back for 2-3 months sort of thing? Just back and forth?
Yeah.
About just 5 years, you said?
Yeah, but I mean, even now, if I get an opportunity to travel, I'll take it. But I'll just do it a little bit more class and style and, maybe more showers and stuff.
A little more organized and shit.
Yeah.
Well, did you do like the car? You never like travel with a car much, did you? Or
I have, yeah. I've
You just
done
switched
that.
it up.
Like I've traveled in my own car. I've traveled in other people's cars. Like I've just met people on the road and convinced them that hey, we should take your car to California right now, and I'll put gas in it. I got this red gas jug and I'll fill it at every gas station off of
Oh, Spangen or whatever.
my charm and wit. Yeah.
Buskin.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
we
you
called it gas jugging. Where you just walk up with an empty jug up to someone who's pumping their gas and say, "Hey, man, could you spare a gallon of gas?" And,
my buddy says Spangen. You know that term, right?
Yeah, spare changing people.
Spangen. Yeah.
Yep.
No, I've
Asking people
only
for-
done that a handful of times, but yeah, I did the same thing when I was young. I'd save up money, and then you didn't know how to fucking use it. But then you get in those
Yep.
situations where like you figure out how to like stretch your money because you go so fucking broke, you have no other choice. You know what I
Yep.
mean? But it's I don't know. There's ups and downs to all of it, obviously, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that first tour, I paid $2,000 to go on tour. Fast forward like maybe 5 or 6 years, I go on my next tour, and this one's a solo tour. And this time, I have my new found like road skills, I guess, of like being a hustler, being a traveling hustler. So I learned how to ask people for gas at gas stations. So I came up with my new method, which was I burnt a bunch of blank CDs, and I bought them in bulk for like 10 cents a piece.
Nice.
So I got my prices down to be like 25 cents per CD. And then I'd go up to people at gas stations with a CD in one hand and the red jug in another hand and say, hey, I'll trade you my album of 22 original songs for a gallon of gas. And that worked like a charm. And
That's
I
pretty
toured.
smart.
I funded the tours that way by just, trading CDs for gas
Yeah.
for years after that. And then we'll fast forward even more now to like my last tour that happened, which was 3 years ago now-ish. Well, I've been on a few small ones since then, but like the last big tour, we went, 4 of us in a band, and
Oh, cool.
we didn't have to spange at all. We didn't have to hustle or ask for gas. And we got it to where the band fund was $10 in the green when we got home,
Hell yeah.
which is like, that's never happened before, but...
Right. Well, that's just the goal. Like each time you learn something new, so you're like, next time we got to do it like this. And a lot of it's trial and error. You have to play those venues that like you, and the ones that hate you, and the ones that pay good, and all that shit. So.
And take all those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday gigs where nobody's gonna come.
Right. Whatever you can get. You get a free meal, free drinks, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you can get out of it, but. It's definitely like its own lifestyle, and it's I think it's really hard for people to comprehend until they actually do it. And you can like try to explain it, but like a lot of people definitely aren't, cut for tough enough for it, or whatever you want to call it. Survival hustler. Did you ever fly a sign much? I never liked that style.
I've always hated it, but I mean, when I was younger, I survived off of cardboard signs.
Right.
Like, I keep a few of them. I don't know if you can see, but like, I keep a few of them on my wall still. Like, out of gas, anything helps. Traveling broken, ugly, anything helps.
Out of gas, anything helps is the most common for sure.
I keep those to remind me of where I came from, and
listen.
I've come a long way from there.
No shit, right? It's like, don't go back to that, man. Don't resort.
Yeah.
The desperation. Yeah, I had a friend. He we kind of split the gas once, and he did all of it by flying signs, and I had show money or whatever. But good to have some help for sure. Did you ever busk much or play on the street, just kind of wherever you could? Or?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh yeah.
And that doesn't pay for shit either when you're a solo person, especially like when I was doing that a lot. I was playing folk punk music, which was like pretty aggressive and rowdy and not well received by anybody in any like major metropolitan area. Like they don't want to be screamed at about how they shouldn't be capitalists and how they're fucking rich filthy pigs. Like they're not going to give you their money. But those were the only songs that I had, so I would play them.
You just play fucking 2 Neil Young songs over and over.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you got any? Yeah, you got any like highlights, cool stories from the road? Or I'm sure there's like too many to think of sometimes when they actually
Yeah, it feels that
come
way.
back to you. It's hard to like reminisce sometimes. I don't know
Yeah.
how the
I
memory
mean, there's
works.
one cool story that happened to me. This is like non-music related, which I feel like this podcast is mostly about the music, but like one really just cool magical thing that happened to me while I was traveling was I just got kicked off of a freight train and I ran from the rail police. This was out in the desert on the border of California and Arizona by like Needles, California, where
Wait on
the
it.
Colorado River separates the two states.
Oh,
So I got kicked off this train, but I ran into the bush down by the Colorado River and I hid there and the cops couldn't find me. So when they finally left and my freight train pulled off, I was just stuck out in the middle of the desert with like, nowhere to go, but I could
Nothing.
see the headlights off in the distance of a highway. So I just walked the desert until I got to the
holy
highway.
shit.
And
Damn.
I sat there and stuck my thumb out, and I was walking down the highway, waiting for a ride, and I realized that the bottom of my shoe, the sole of it, had like worn all the way through to where my sock was like literally on the ground with every step I took. And I'm walking all bow-legged to, try to walk on the side of my shoe
Right.
to keep it from injuring my foot. And this dude stops to pick me up, and turns out he's going all the way to Flagstaff, Arizona. And I'm sitting there with my legs crossed like this. So he's in the driver's seat and he can see the bottom of my shoe. And he's like, dude, you got a hole in the bottom of your shoe.
Like, oh, that's why it feels like that.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I know, it fucking hurts, man. And he pulls over on, I think, what's that, I-10 right there? Either I-10 or, I think it's I-10.
Yeah,
He pulls
something.
over on the interstate, like, just comes to a halt. There's not many cars. And he goes to his trunk, pulls out a box of shoes, and comes back in, and he says, are these your size? And it turns out it's the same exact pair of Merrell hiking boots. Same model, same size as I was currently wearing. But just brand new in the box. And like
was it
neither
shoe
of us could
department?
believe it.
Oh, no shit. It was just coincidence. There was no, like, he didn't have, like, a shoe department in his truck or nothing.
No, it was just fate. He's like, my sister gave me these shoes and they don't really fit me very good. You can have them.
Holy shit, dude. That's a trip.
But yeah, that it just like gave me the chills when it happened, like, and that's like one of the biggest lessons you learn when you're traveling is that what you need you'll find, and people will provide it for you, and nobody's gonna let you die, and that's one thing that like death is one of everyone's biggest fear, like of going to live their best life. But dying is really fucking hard to do. Like that's something that people don't get. Even if you want to kill yourself, there's a million do-gooders that are going to step in and stop you from doing it. Like death is hard to do.
Right.
Nobody's going to let you starve. Nobody's going to let you freeze.
Right. For the
Like-
most, unless you're like literally a sociopath or something, but for
Yeah.
the most part, you're not gonna find that. And that's another thing. It's hard to explain. Shit like that feels like magic happens like all the time in a lot of ways. I mean,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
it happens all the time anyways, but it's almost like in those situations where you like need that assistance, it seems like it happens kind of more often, or just like shit that's meant to be, right? It's just like, oh shit, that's how it was.
Plus, when you're out on the road and bumping into so many different souls and stuff, like
Right.
you're opening yourself up to more chances for magic and coincidence and serendipity or whatever you want to call it. Than
Yeah.
like say right now we're all stuck at home, not really bumping into anyone.
That's a very good point, yeah, because maybe almost having that openness is what manifests it to happen more often. You're like attracting that energy. And like
Bingo.
I've always, like this is always like something I come back to a lot. I feel like maybe I learned it on the road, but like a lot of times when you feel like you really need or want or you're desperate for something, as soon as you fucking give up that need, that's when it comes to you.
Yeah.
As soon as you let go, then you're like, oh, here you go. You know what I mean? It's like maybe you weren't maybe you like just started noticing my fucking feet hurt or something, but yeah, you got to walk a while, man. I've only done that in my Chuck Taylors, and those are like very thin, so I can only imagine.
I did it in 6 months. Those were brand new when I hit the road.
And those are like the thick
I had spent a lot of time fucking walking the highway, walking the railroad tracks, hiking. I was on my feet constantly.
Hell yeah, dude. That's crazy. All right, that is a cool story. Glad you shared that. So what do you think? What do you think's like some of the best, maybe music you've kind of like came out of these experiences? Like, do you have anything that's like, oh, that's like defines my superhero traveling guy I am?
Any of my songs, you mean?
Yeah. Even styles are just like, you know, like it can just like shift you into a direction. Like now I'm like this, as opposed to when you were at home, maybe you're more folk punk, and then like you kind of just like shift.
Yeah. No, I definitely experienced that when I was younger. Like the first time when I first started traveling, when I left, I like really identified as like a hippie, and I loved, like I said, I loved Neil Young, and I loved like old classic rock and the Grateful Dead and stuff, and I knew a handful of maybe Neil Young covers, and he was really the only guy I like took the time to learn his songs, I think. But
he's a good like in between. He can be hippie or folk and country.
Kind of country, kind of rock. Yeah, and grungy, totally. Yeah. But when I got to New Orleans for the first time, I met this like young kid. He was 16. He was a runaway. His name was Scuba Steve. He had like face tattoos, and I had never met anybody like as punk rock as him. And he had this little songbook that he carried with him, and he didn't know how to play any instruments, but he had lyrics and chords written down in his songbook, and he's like, dude, if you can play these chords, I can sing these words I wrote over it. So he's like,
so he could sing it like the chord that he wrote and didn't know how to play it? That's crazy.
Yeah. I think he played ukulele or something, but he didn't have an instrument at the time. So I started playing these chords. He's like, dude, you got to play it faster. Play it faster and harder. It's like, you got to go harder, man. And that was like my first glimpse into the world of folk punk. Like Scuba Steve turned me on. He was like screaming and belligerent. And I remember the first song he played was it was called what was it called? It was called "Get a Bum You Job."
Oh yeah. Wait a second.
It's like, don't talk shit to me. Oh fuck, I can't remember, but it was like very belligerent and
Get a bum you job.
Yeah, and it's, you know how when you're traveling, everyone tells you, get a job, you bum.
Yeah,
but this is
sure.
Scuba Steve's rebuttal to that, which is him drunk on the sidewalk screaming at people with jobs, like, get a bum, you job. Like, fucking drink some whiskey with me here on the sidewalk, you know?
Where'd you meet Scuba Steve?
In New Orleans. In like, in the 9th Ward, in this old abandoned schoolhouse squat that I was staying at.
Crazy. Scuba Steve, man. Hopefully he's still out there and playing that shit.
He is. I just ran into him, like, randomly down in southern Illinois in September of last year.
Right on. That's cool,
So
man.
I can verify he's still alive, still singing, still traveling with a ukulele, playing music.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, do you have any, like, favorite spots? Like, New Orleans, one of them? I never had the best time in New Orleans, personally, but...
Yeah, New Orleans is one of my go-to spots, and I've never been well received there, ever.
Yeah,
but I love it.
It's a different scene.
I love
it's
it.
a very jazzy scene and all that shit, but yeah.
And I've been there probably like maybe 12 or 15 times in the past decade now, and I'll tell you what, when I'm drinking, it's way more fun than when I'm not.
Oh, for sure. I think that's probably why I didn't get too crazy about it, and it was like I just remember we were sleeping in our van and it felt hotter at night than it did during the day.
Oh,
And it was only it was only May. It wasn't even the actual summer yet. We were there for like I think we went to Jazz Fest or something, but it was just like brutal. And then it's like, river rats, roaches everywhere.
Yeah.
But I've never been that big of a drinker, but that's you obviously could tell that vibe, that it was a drinking vibe, and
Totally.
where you can buy the fucking daiquiris at a drive-thru and shit.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I used to do this thing called bourbon surfing. It's another thing that Scuba Steve taught me when I was younger, that it's when you go down, you get your own cup and you go down Bourbon Street and you surf for people to pour a little bit of their drink into your drink. So then you ask everyone, hey, can I get a little splash of yours? And you ask 20 people for a splash, and then you got this big smoothie of like 30 different mixed drinks, and we called it bourbon surfing, and we'd drink for free on Bourbon Street, drinking all these different people's germs and drinks.
Alcohol kills it all. No worries.
Yeah. So that's a good segue into I am an alcoholic. I'm currently a year sober right now. And,
shit. Congrats.
And that's been like a thing that's been a reoccurring theme throughout the past 10 years of my life too, is like I will get sober and that changes the name of the game. That like sets my focus like from, it'll be right here where my blinders are on and I'm just like dead set on traveling, and then I'll be over here like I'm gonna make an album, I'm gonna try to tour, and then get drunk and like go back to traveling, and it's like is it bouncing back and forth.
Is it coincidental, or do you like sober up when you come home more and then you drink more on the road? Is that a pattern, or?
It's a little bit like that, but also like I've traveled completely sober before and toured sober, and and I've been drunk at home too. So like, there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Like again, the swing state used to be tons of parties or whatever, hidden drinking, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny that they didn't serve alcohol at Swing State, and
just 18 plus hookah.
Yeah. That's how they're able to maintain the all ages thing,
but everyone drank in the parking lot.
We all drank in the parking lot, yeah,
or in the bushes or something or whatever. If it was nice out. Yeah. So how did I kind of remember, but how the hell did it end? Because didn't after it end, it was like a squatter house too.
Yeah. So Swing State was right on the corner of Grand Avenue and Route 45 in Lake Villa, which is like a prime business area, and it's surrounded by car dealerships. There's like 10 car dealerships on that like 1/4 mile stretch of land. So what the city of Lake Villa really needed more than anything else was another car dealership, and Nissan bought the property that Swing State was on, and since they were only renting, they were forced off the lot.
Damn. Is that fucking simple shit? But
the spirit of Swing State kind of, like a part of the spirit, lived on in the building even after Swing State had closed and the owner had left. Some of the people who had been going there for a while started squatting the building before it got demolished, and that's when it took on this new form. It was identified as the Trap House.
Oh no
which
shit!
Was like a wild scene where, people from the road, they didn't know that the bank had bought the building, and they didn't know that, like, Swing State was supposed to be closed, so it never really, like, to the general public, it didn't faze them that there was a bunch of cars there and a bunch of lights on in the building still. So there would be, like, parties there every night, and someone brought these huge fucking subwoofers up in the upstairs and was, like, bumping music till like 7 a.m. every night.
There's still electricity? Well, obviously, until the...
Like what?
There's still electricity? It wasn't.
Oh, there's electricity, yeah. And running water and... Yeah.
Damn. That's crazy. So how long did that last? Just like a month? Or not?
That didn't last long. That was just like a couple weeks, really.
Okay. And then, what year was that when it actually closed? Was that 16 or 17?
I don't know for sure, but I think it might have just been like the 5 or 6 year anniversary of it recently, because I remember seeing something on Facebook.
I would guess 5. Maybe
Yeah.
it's 2020 because I'm pretty sure I don't know. Maybe that's why we played that weird Chicago show because there's no swing state or something.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Yeah, it was a cool place, man. It was just like you could tell there's a ton of regulars. You guys had your crew, and I just remember one of the last times playing there. I think I was solo, and I think you were playing with a four piece at the time. Maybe it was a 3-piece, but you guys had like a huge crew there. It was just like all your people. It seemed like was the
Yeah, by the end of
the
it,
lounge.
that was our stomping ground. Like,
Yeah,
we came up there, you know.
hell yeah. And then eventually it was Pops left and Joe Louis was there. I always thought he was cool as shit. I actually recorded a couple albums at the Swing State, which was cool. And they were
Nice.
doing that for a while. Like I think a lot of people kind of did that.
Yeah, they were running Swing State Records out of there.
Pretty affordable, definitely. But
Yeah.
you can get a semi driving by on the recording in between or during the song if you don't.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Like it's crazy if you listen closely enough, but because it's so fucking
Yeah.
loud right at that corner or whatever.
Some great albums were recorded there, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But shit, what was I gonna say? But yeah, shit. I guess, man, time just flies by. So I think the last time it probably was that Chicago show, but we did that really cool show at Bremen Cafe. I think it was Tony's last show. I believe it was the end of 2014, and he actually died like a month later, which is just like crazy because we kind of like all got this chance to reunite, and like it was a really great show because like you opened and you brought all your crew, and then Earth to Clark, they're a Beloit band. They kind of had a crew. It was just like that was one of the best shows I played at Bremen. I felt like, and you've played there
Yeah.
other times too, right? Like you went back. And,
Yeah, and that was right before they like moved the stage in the other back room
yeah,
because it's not up by the front anymore. And the vibe was cool there. It was a cool thing.
it's very a River West bar. I mean, that was the tribe stomping grounds for a while. We had tribal Tuesdays. We'd play there every Tuesday night for a while. But like when we did that show, I was like living in California. So it was like we hadn't reunited in like 2 years or something. So it was just cool to like have you come at the same time
And you had
Yeah.
that new fiddle player too then. who
No, that was
different
Dom.
than-
that was
Dom played with
that
you
was
then
the
too?
yeah me,
Didn't
Tony,
you get
Dom.
a new fiddle player after that?
We had
I thought-
fucking 3 or 4, but yeah, there was one shortly after you met Dom. Originally, we had a new fiddle player, and then we had a Colorado fiddle player who was originally from Milwaukee. But no, that one was actually like original tribe. It was me, Dom, and Tony, and then our bass player Josh Fairchild, which you probably know him, Billy Dreamer. They used to come play Swing State. Billy Dreamer.
Really? I never put 2 and 2 together. Like I know of Billy Dreamer.
Josh is the front man. Yeah.
Okay.
He's the only original member of Billy Dreamer. It's his band.
He's the guy always rolling around in his little thong, right?
Yeah, which that definitely makes it confusing because you see him with us and he's normal, and you're like, wait, that's the same guy? Shit.
I had no clue that was the same dude.
Well, dude, he runs MKE Punk Fest. You should try to book that.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, he does like, well, fuck, who knows what's happening now, but he's been doing it for like 9 or 10 years or some shit. Everything's canceled, man.
Yeah, for now.
That's
It's a little bit strange.
postponed. You know, I think it's like, I don't know about you, but like times like this, it's almost like maybe we're like a little more adjusted to like being recluse, so it's like not as much of a panic. I don't feel panicked as I feel like a lot of people like what they panic about the most is like they have no idea what to do without a job to clock into or, you know, money to spend. And it's
I'm
like
still here like fighting for free seconds to record music. Like I'm in school right now full time, and all my classes just got put to online, and I'm like finishing up the end of the semester right now, and I'm just like still spending so much fucking time studying and doing homework that I'm fighting for time to be down here in my little green box and record a little bit.
Appreciate you doing this. What are you going to school for?
Music business.
Right on. Where at? Just Northern Illinois?
No, right now I'm just finishing up an associate's degree,
Cool.
and then hopefully I'll be transferring to Columbia College in Chicago. But I just finished for the last year and a half. I was out at Elgin, and I went through their music production program, learning
yeah.
to record. So
cool. So you're doing
I
kind of
did.
both
I got their
aspects?
certificate on music production, but none of that even applies towards my associates that I'm now pursuing, and none of that will apply towards going to Columbia for music business. Because I kind of like, after I did this music recording certificate program, I realized that I don't want to be on the tech side of it really, and I think my skills are a better match for
Oh, shit.
doing the business part.
Oh, you mean like even doing things like using your networking and personality sort of thing? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I realized what
Your strengths are.
I never really realized what a recording engineer's life looked like, and it looks like this. It looks like sitting
Oh, yeah.
in a computer chair with headphones on all the fucking time.
It's
And-
like you got to really be obsessed with getting that sound to really enjoy
Yeah.
that.
And my ears suck, dude. I've been in punk bands for too long, like
Right.
playing with loud ass drummers, and I don't. I'll keep recording myself. Ultimately, that was like the great thing I learned in that certificate program is how to record myself, and I'll use it for that. But like, I don't want to be a recording engineer
Yeah.
just doing like block sessions at weird hours for the rest of my life, and I want to like figure out how to get into more the business side of music,
Cool.
helping people figure out how to make money off of streaming and maybe developing new forms for musicians to make money.
Well, it's like the marketing aspect, especially with like social media and online, is just like crazy nowadays. There's so many angles you can go, and I mean that's one of the reasons I started this, because I feel like it has potential to do things bigger than I could do musically, or just because like each guest is like attracting their own people, so
Totally.
there's bound to be like crossover. You know
Oh,
what
yeah.
I mean? So, but I just started doing this because I started getting into podcasts myself, and like I said, I kind of like the clips more. Like it's rare that I listen to a full episode. Almost like I doubt only people who are like true Roaming Bear fans will watch the whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to like get a cool clip that's 5 to 7 minutes, fucking a lot of people watch that shit. But I don't know.
Totally.
It's cool, and like that is true though. What you're saying, the engineer thing, you got to like really enjoy it because it can fucking drive you nuts. And like, I get a little crazy staring at a screen all day. Just kind of like my eyes, like, ooh.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm more like suited for the creative part of like making music and recording. Like, I love recording demos. That's my most favorite process of the music thing, is just like sitting here with my computer and making a song from scratch that didn't exist before. And I don't have the attention span to sit there and fuck with every little frequency and like fix every like
it's a certain, like you said, a certain attention span or mind state to like zone in on it like that. And maybe it's a lot of times that makes for the best recordings when you have both. You got to have the creative side and the technical side. But it's cool, the knowledge you learn. At least now you can probably record a lot better demos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and this is the thing. Now I've learned, at least like one of the biggest things I learned was what's it called, mic staging or stage gaining.
Yep.
Like learning how to set the gain, like so things aren't clipping. That's like the most important. Learning how to set the gain, and learning like. Before I went to college for it, I didn't know the difference between a cardioid microphone and an omnidirectional microphone.
Right.
Figure 8. Like, I didn't know that this microphone picks me up better in front than it does on the sides and things like
how
that.
it projects out. Because a lot of them, those symbols they have is like showing you the frequency bubble or whatever you want to call it. It's trippy, man.
I never knew any of that. So learning all that helps me, and now I realize when it's time to make the next like big album that I'm doing, I can record myself but I'm definitely going to give it to someone else to mix and master.
Yeah.
Someone who has like all the better plugins and has the ear for it and has like the $10,000 speakers that will in a room that's diffused perfectly where they can hear the frequencies that are off. Because I'm not even going to hear it in this little box that I'm sitting in.
Right. Well, and it's always better to get, another set of ears on it, and especially someone, in that realm, so to speak. But
totally.
Yeah, and a lot of times, from my experience, like when trying to get other people to master, it's almost good to give them a reference. Like this is, even though it can be hard to like, I sound like, who the fuck do you sound like? Modest Mouse?
Yeah, that's what I would identify as.
Is that it? Is that a good guess?
Yeah, I mean, whenever people ask, I'm like, you listen to Modest Mouse,
Dude, I'm glad I fucking nailed that. That's what I think of. I don't know, because I've heard both. I've heard you do the hardcore thing with the band, and I've heard you do the sweet folky thing. Because like that Chicago show, didn't you have like an old teacher there or something? You're serenading.
My old computer teacher was hanging out there.
That was cool. No, but it was a totally different style. It was kind of like a good surprise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like a listening room. We had Dakota. She does her mellow thing too, and.
Oh, yeah, Dakota played that.
Yeah, I think that was the last time I saw her, so shit, it's been a while.
Same, yeah, she's living out in Santa...
Oh, that's right.
Santa
Cruz?
Santa Cruz, yep.
Yep. Shit, man. Crazy. Well...
Wait, Dakota's the one that hooked us up, wasn't she? Because you guys met Dakota out in Colorado.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, that's right. Me and Tony met her randomly in Netherland, and she was with this goofy-ass guy... it was a weird situation, but, yeah, and then I think we stayed in touch on MySpace, back in the MySpace days, and she was like, probably just referred us to Swing State, and like you said, Ian will book anybody, and then we met, I'm pretty sure you were opening for us, or you were playing the same night that we played Swing State. I think you actually played after us, and that's why I got that cool video of you. Because I already had all my camera up. I'm like, I'm going to get this dude.
Yeah.
And then maybe we stayed there the first time. I felt like we came back another time and stayed there. You had the fucking little dog.
Yeah, Casey Sue, rest in peace. She just passed away.
Oh, damn. How old was she?
She was 11 years old.
She's fucking old for a little dog, man.
Yeah.
That's right on. She was a train hopping dog.
Yep, she was
Throw her in the
tough
fucking
bitch.
pouch or whatever the fuck. That's cool, man. Yeah, so that's right. Dude, I fucking forgot about that I met Dakota before that. That's a fucking
trip. It's good we give Dakota Rose a shout out here.
For sure. I should get her around here.
I don't think she's really making too much music. Well, hopefully now she is, but last time I talked to her, she said she wasn't playing much, at least not much piano, which like breaks my heart because she was so talented.
She was really, you could tell she was really passionate about her songs, and I thought she was good on the acoustic, because another time she came to Bremen and she did like all acoustic. There was no piano. When she was dating that one guy, they had like a Chicago band or something.
Was it William Gilliam? I don't know.
He was like a taller dude, and I don't know.
William Gilliam with Richard Cranium?
Probably. Dark hair. Maybe he's from southern Wisconsin.
Yeah, William Gilliam.
Yeah,
he's one of my homies.
Oh, right on. He's your homie. Yeah, what was that band? They were like a 5 or 6 piece. They like added her.
Richard Cranium.
Richard Cranium. You just said it right. They still together?
No. Oh, the other band she was in was Evoli that she was in. You're probably thinking of when she was in Evoli.
And that was him too, right? That was the same guy?
I don't know if she was dating a guy from Evoli. I don't know. But I don't know.
Well, shout out to Dakota. I'll get her on here. Well, shit, I remember last time I talked to her. I need to reach out. But, yeah, just like you, man. I haven't talked to you in a while. It's good to reconnect and shit. And
totally.
Figure what better way to do it than something like this. And, man, it's such
what's on the horizon for you now? Are you, like, still touring from time to time? Or what are you up to?
Since I had my kid, not really, like, basically I will go back to Wisconsin for a weekend or a week or two at a time and like make a tour out of it. And I still will play 1 or 2 shows with the Tribe, and then I have another band, The Grit, out of Beloit. So like I try to get like one big show for the bands, and then I'll like do all these one-man band shows. But kind of, settling down temporarily at least, until the kid's at least like 4 or 5, or she's 2.5. So, but yeah, I mean, I like Vermont. We're super like in the country, but it's not the coolest music scene sort of thing. But make it work. I miss the road days, dude. I do, but at the same time, maybe you kind of can feel the same way. I really felt like I gave it my all. Like I played 40 states. I don't know about you, but I just really put like every fucking ounce of everything I could to like try to make it work. And it was the same thing. We would fail for many tours and then eventually start getting in the green, getting in the black, getting in the green, coming back not broke. So what about you? You get it when you get a chance, you said you'll go out, or?
Yeah, but I mean, lately for the past year and a half, I've been just working and in school. Just like I'm grinding right now. I'm in grind mode. I just turned 30, and I think that was like a big like third life crisis for me, that like shit, I cannot keep like crash landing at my mom's, and I need to like figure out how to be an adult, and starting at community college is the first step of that for me, I guess.
Hey, that's cool though, man. That's cool you're still doing something with music,
Yeah. No, I'll always do something with music. I'm open to the idea though that it might not be my career now. But I'm like still right now in the final stage of like fighting to make my career in music. Hence why I'm going to school and have these dreams of going to like Columbia, prestigious like art school for music, to tap into their connections and like, even if I end up like, I don't know, this is like a dream, but like working for something like Spotify, just like working in the music industry would beat just being like a random Joe Schmo salesman for some company that I don't give a fuck about, just to like have a career, Yeah, I want a career now. I'm that old. I'm selling out. I'm okay with that.
Right.
And I want it to be in music.
Well, dude, and I think, if you do something business wise, you would have like a whole nother perspective than your average person with like the lifestyle you lived, and like, probably you met some other insanely talented people out there that you might want to connect with business-wise. I don't know.
Exactly, yeah.
There's so many, like you ever see, like, some of the best talented people of your life and no one knows them on the road, like, all the fucking time?
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy. But it's like, how are you not, I don't know. But
yeah, it's because, a lot of artists, they don't have the mind for the business side of it or the marketing side of it, for a huge point. Like, so many talented people, like I'll use my friend Chris Jeffries for one example. Like, he spent like 10 years touring or so, and then he recorded this album, The Homeless Romantic, and thought that like this was going to be the album that would put him on the charts, and he put it out there for the internet. And in my mind, it's like my favorite album of all times, like up there with the greats with Neil Young and all that shit. And I love it, and I love every song on the album is great, but it just wasn't well received, and there was no like real marketing plan to get it out there.
Right.
And that ultimately, like,
and that's,
I think that was the last straw for Chris, and now he's like following the path of becoming a computer programmer more so than a professional musician, and that breaks my heart to see that happening when like such
sad.
Beautiful raw talent is just not appreciated the way it could be if someone with a mind for marketing just got behind it and gave it a little nudge.
That's where you come in, man.
Hopefully.
Well, and I think a lot of people, a lot of musicians, says they realize that like they almost have to have equally as much marketing skills as creative skills, and the marketing shit can almost suck the soul out of the creativity depending on what type of person you are, especially. And so it's just a whole part of it's a whole other form of dedication, because you already know the dedication of learning an instrument, writing songs, recording and all that shit. And then it's like, oh, I got to learn all this shit too. Especially now, like, if you do it right, independent artists can thrive. But like, if you don't know what to do and have no plan, it's exactly what you said. No one's going to hear it.
Yep.
But the sad thing about that is, like, okay, when did he release that? Recently or a year or two ago? When?
Maybe like 5 or 6 years ago it came out.
Okay, and the truth is, it's still a good album, and 100,000 people could hear it, and it's brand new to them. It doesn't matter.
Totally, yeah. I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
here's the plug. If you got Apple Music or Spotify, look up Chris Jeffries' The
I'm gonna look it up.
Homeless Romantic. Give that album a spin. It's like one of the best Americana albums of our time.
And he
Not
like
even Americana. It's a great. It's like kind of like Lou Reedy and Lou Reed meets Whole Crow Medicine Show or some shit like that, which is a horrible explanation of it.
no, that's
but-
dope. I like the title, and as you say, it's almost like a manifest or like a 10 years combining to get to that point of a road. Which when you put that much focus and like preparation, it's got to be something good. You know, it's
Totally,
already like,
yeah.
it's
And
already
Chris
intriguing.
recorded it all himself, and he like brought a lot of his most talented. He'd been traveling for a long time, and he met a bunch of musicians from all over, and he brought them into the studio to create this album with him. And you can hear like, I can't remember who plays fiddle on it, but like the fiddle player makes the fiddle sound like it's weeping and laughing at times. Like,
Wow.
it's just, that's another thing that like I've never thought of. And I've always done like music in a very DIY way, where if I'm going to have drums on the track, I'm going to record it myself. But after going to school for this, I realized like, no, pay a studio musician to play the shit for you. You can write it. You can pay them to play it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I had my first like actual real studio experience just over a year ago, and yeah, it's a huge difference, man. I mean, I play my own like rhythm guitar part, but like just having someone do the bass and lead and all, like you said, even if you write it, they can like put that finesse or I guess perfection in a sense, but at the same time, to me, it's always a learning experience. I'm always like, okay, like I could get to that point, but yeah, obviously it takes a while and shit. But.
Yeah, it's like you could get to that point if you play nothing but bass for the next 10 years, then you can be a professional studio bassist.
Yeah, no shit. Well, and that's the thing about bass. It's like every guitar player can play bass, but if you really want like a bass player and a bass line,
Yeah.
Well, shit. So yeah, what's the future for you? What are you promoting? Have you recorded much recently or?
Lately, I started dating someone lately, and we started a band together. It's called Halloweener, and we haven't released anything yet, but with this quarantine, she's here quarantining with me. Her name is Bailey, and we have been kind of getting into some late night recording sessions lately, and we'll probably put some demos out into the world relatively soon.
Cool. Is it a similar folky thing?
Yeah, it's pretty folky. I'm playing a lot of keys lately on it, which is like brand new to me. I'm kind of learning piano just for this, and we're both trying to do some singing and.
Cool. She plays acoustic or?
What's up?
Does she play acoustic?
Acoustic guitar, yeah, some electric guitar. Really? Bailey's learning the upright bass for this.
No shit.
We're just, yeah.
Well, what better time, take advantage of whatever the fuck's going on here. Yeah, dude, I've been doing like so much recording. It's just crazy. It's just.
That's great, dude. I have not been doing nearly as much recording as I should, but like I'm getting in the swing of social isolation and quarantining now, and like I'm getting in the COVID swing of like figuring out how to be productive with this.
Yeah, you gotta just take any chance you got just to like fucking do it. And I know there's times where you're like, I can't sing the best today or blah blah blah, but half the time I just say fuck it, man. Just give it a shot.
Just go for it.
Surprise yourself. Sometimes when you think you sound like shit, you sound better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends on the day, I guess. All right, cool. Halloweener coming in the near future. And you still go by Roaming Bear? Is that a folk?
Yep, that's
you
just
still
my
put
solo
stuff
project.
out? Yeah.
Roaming Bear. I'm thinking about a brand change, but we'll keep that little secret for now till it's ready to come out.
Cool. So maybe like these take a couple months to come out, like editing and shit. Like you're the 20th. I just put out the 8th episode, so. But maybe by the time it comes out, Halloweener will be coming out and could do.
Yeah, hopefully at least with a
something.
single.
Yeah, just like what you can do now, just fucking film yourself actually recording it, cut the video together. Everybody's watching that shit. Video just gets people to listen to it more. That's another thing too. It's like
that is true.
How often can you post something, especially on something like Facebook, just audio, and compared to a reaction you'll get if it's a video, like a music video, you know?
Yep.
I started investing in music videos for that reason alone, just to have more visual, appealing, I guess.
Totally. One thing that I've been sleeping on the whole time is Spotify and Apple Music.
Yeah. Well, what do you use, or have you?
I've only got music on Bandcamp. I'm solely on Bandcamp, but I have like 10 albums up there on Bandcamp.
I would suggest Ditto Music. They are, I think it was $100, but dude, they put you on like 100 different streaming, like things you've never even heard of. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Every release, it's way more than just Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Google Play. It's like Deezer, Napster, anything you think of. It's crazy.
Yeah. Right now, I'm kind of just waiting. I'm like, I don't even want to, like I said, with the idea of rebranding Roaming Bear, I don't even necessarily want to keep going in the direction I've been traveling. I've created this whole brand around Roaming Bear as it's made for homeless people. It's made for people who will never have the purchasing power to financially support me in the way that I want to be supported. So I'm trying to figure out how to do a whole 180 here with the music thing and create a brand for hipster college kids, something a little more groovy, a little more catchy, and just sell out a bit.
And the thing is, the Roaming Bear stuff, it's like that because it's a reflection of, who you were, your lifestyle. Like, you were essentially creating sounds for the street kids, and in a sense, maybe there is, like you said, there's a lot of similar Scuba Steve's characters out there who sing folk punk, right? I fucking heard them. Tattooed faces, whatever. So maybe that's essentially, I guess it makes sense that kind of, that's what Roaming Bear represents, I guess. The music, in a sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing. It's authentic. You lived it, you know what I mean? But I guess you didn't make any money off it or whatever.
Yeah.
Success in other ways, yeah.
It was a fun ride from dumpster to dumpster down the highways through the desert and that's ultimately back to my mom's house.
That's a great quote, right? Dumpster to desert. Dumpster to dumpster. Desert to desert. Right on. Oh, shit. Thanks for being on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, dude.
It's good catching up. I'll let you know when it's about to come out. You can
cool.
I can let you view it first or whatever. I'll cut out what we're saying right now and shit. Talking about. Yeah. But
cool. And I can shoot you some links to some music videos and stuff if you want to.
Yeah. I'll
cut
probably
some other stuff in there.
Yeah, right before I'm done with editing this, I'll probably be asking you for specific stuff of especially if there's any music videos you want to feature and whatnot. But yeah, I'll probably definitely do a swing state kind of tribute thing, and definitely something with promoting your original shit, because that's I try to have as many original artists as possible on here to try to
totally
push their stuff, but sometimes I just end up talking to old friends and shit. So
yeah,
what are you gonna do? But brother,
I've been kicking around the idea of starting a new podcast lately. Don't put this in there yet because I'm trying to
do it.
Sit on this until it happens.
Yeah.
But I want to put together a podcast called MVP, which is a mini victories podcast, and it'll be a podcast specifically on the music business. But it's kind of like what you said, how if you create a podcast about the thing you're trying to learn about or the circle you're trying to be in, it'll attract that to you.
Yeah.
So I want to make a podcast about how being successful in the music business isn't about this back door into success or fame we've all been told that there is, because it doesn't work that way. It's about a bunch of mini victories. So this will be called the MVP, and then my guests will be called the players, like the most valuable players or whatever.
Ah,
But
I like it, man. Dude,
yeah,
I would definitely say do it video style too, because it's a whole,
yeah, for sure.
YouTube alone is a whole nother avenue. You know what I mean? Because I think it's like I said, it's a certain type of person who like only listen to audio podcasts. Like you're sitting around, like listen to talk radio shit. You're just like sitting there, as opposed to like you're flipping to YouTube and you like see a funny clip and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. It's such a trip. I started doing this at the beginning of the year, and now it's like everyone's doing this Zoom thing. It's like, and I was doing the Zoom from the beginning, and I'm just like, I was like, this is what was gonna happen. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The split, dude, everything on TV's like split
after
screen.
You contacted me about this, just last week, someone else contacted me about their
Everyone's
music
making
podcast.
them now. Yeah.
Yeah, because people are all sitting at home bored right now, you know?
And it's like, shit, of course, that's my luck. As soon as I, like, think it's a new thing. But because I don't think a whole lot of musicians have them. I think they're starting to, but I actually got into, like, you know, Joe Rogan or, like, Tom Segura, like, comedian podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan has some, like, super interesting guests. But for the most part, it's, like, comedian shit and whatever. But there's not...
The only podcasts I got into were, like, about the music... pretty much about the music industry, but like recording specifically.
Oh, and getting into
when I used to deliver for Amazon, I would just sit and listen on tips and techniques on how to record and about gear and.
That's cool. I used to listen to like a couple of like TED Talks and shit like that too, or just interesting. Try to gain some knowledge, but
yeah,
you just get back to the entertaining factor. Like, give me some fucking art, man. Come on.
But if I do get that podcast up and running, I'd definitely like to talk to you about it.
Yeah, dude.
I know you've got a lot of stories about mini victories that have led you to where you are and getting all the knowledge you have about the music business.
Well, I would say, to me personally, a lot of mini victories are songs, man. Like,
oh yeah,
I feel like if I ain't got shit, I could be like, okay, I wrote 300 and there's like 20 of them that are fucking golden, man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, literally. Like, these, you can play these at my funeral, like, whatever. These are, like, some solid shit, but...
Well, I was listening to this one podcast about, like, how Red Hot Chili Peppers, their process in the recording studio, and when they went to record an album, I can't remember which one, but they came into the studio with 75 demos and narrowed it down to their album.
I think that's I think it's Blood Sugar Sex Maggot. I think it's the Rick Rubin first one. When they were all strung out and shit. Well, and they had a lot of, like, unfinished song. It was kind of, like, half-written, too. Oh, no, but that was actual demos. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, but still.
I don't remember which album it was.
You know, and that's another thing I've been doing, too. It's like, okay, if I want to put out, like, a 10, 12-song thing, I'm going to record 30 songs.
Yeah, and
literally
pick the best that fit together and, like, represent a common theme and have, like, a thread between them.
Yeah, and you can, like... be releasing them, you know, through social media and getting feedback like, okay, this one it kind of like can help you get rid of the filler, so to speak.
For sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? But
yeah, in this day and age, you can't afford, as an indie musician trying to compete, like, you can't have filler. There just can't be filler on an album.
Well, and
There's no room for that. No, people don't have the attention span, because if you put one bad song on there, you're going to lose them and they're going to go to the next album or something, you know?
Well, and even if you have every good song, it doesn't necessarily mean they'll listen to the whole album. That's like another reason, like, you know, people put out 10 songs and they're putting out like 6 music videos. It's not just like 1 or 2 singles. It's like, let's make a DIY video while we do the fucking professional one. And you know what I mean?
The people I see that are finding success is like they're putting out 4 or 5 song EPs. And, like, just really pushing that with all their might. Music video for every song, like, getting it on different forums and different playlists.
Like I said, I think videos as much as possible is really the new thing. Especially right now, you can't fucking even... No one's even really driving around. I mean, I guess the most I listen to music, I mean, aside from just, like... I mean, even at home, I'm probably watching more videos with music than listening to just music. Just audio, you know. So we're
luckily,
spoiled, man.
In this quarantine, I'm old school. I'm still spinning mostly vinyls probably is the number one form of music listening.
And that's a whole nother level of sonic quality, sonically. But, all right, man, I gotta hit it, though.
All right, thanks for having me, dude.
Thanks for being on the podcast.
It's good to see your beautiful face again.
You too, man. You look fucking younger somehow. You look healthier.
I am healthier, that's for sure.
It's good. It's good to hear from you. Yeah, excited to hear the new projects. Keep me posted. Yeah, if you're starting to post stuff for the next month or so, definitely incorporate it into this.
Cool.
Good to have, fresh and new stuff for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But thanks again, brother. Appreciate the cool stories. This is Music Universal Language, the 20th episode. This is Roaming Bear. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you in the near future.
Yeah, hey, before you leave the meeting, how should I send you this audio file? MP3, Wave, Dropbox? What are you thinking?
You got Gmail?
Yep.
Just upload a Wave to your Drive, or just email it to me. You want me to here? I'll send you an email.
Just shoot me a message on Facebook with your email, and I'll email it to you right now.
Here. You want to copy that?
Oh, do it in the chat. Okay. Cool beans.
But yeah, that'll be cool. Cause what kind of mic you got? Is it a
AKG Perception 200?
Okay, see, I got this one. It's a MXL. It looks very similar, but it's supposed to be one of the best imitating, like, professional mics. It was only like $150.
This one's cheap too. I actually bought this one from Joe Louis when he was getting out of the habit of.
Dude,
recording.
I probably recorded on that.
Probably, yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, Joe Louis hit me up and he's like, dude, I'm selling my microphones and they are only going to give me $50 a pop at Music Go Round. He's like, any chance you would want to buy them? He's like, I'd rather see him go to a friend than these fuckers for that price. So I was like, yeah, bring them over here. I'll buy them all. So I bought all the microphones he was selling.
He had some fucking quality ones for sure. He went to school for that shit, so. I thought he was great at what he did, man. Sucks he gave it up.
Yeah.
He'll get back to it.
I'm sure he'll still be doing it here and there.
Yeah, it's in him. It's part of him. But, all right, brother. It's good seeing you.
Good seeing you, too. I'll email this to you right now.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Music
Peace,
Universal
dude.
Language. Peace. Roman Bear. Jerome. See you, man.
Oh, yeah.